GPA in engineering. I had failed classes so much that I was told if I fail one more time, I'll be kicked out of the school. I had the lowest grades of all my friends, so I did what anyone would do. I went out and I spent all my money on a gaming computer. Look, this one has an RGB keyboard. The gaming computer is the one that I still have today. Maybe it wasn't the best purchase because my grades got worse, and I had a meeting with my advisor. My advisor sat me down and she said, and I will never forget this quote, she said, "Engineers do not get GPAs like you. You will not graduate. It's time to change majors." I was heartbroken. I wasn't going to be an engineer, and I was destroyed. I had given up so much time studying, but I just couldn't do it. I started a YouTube channel right after that, just because I needed something to distract myself with. I was in a very dark place. I made a couple videos. They're still up today. My very first video was Binding of Isaac, but it got worse. My heart was broken in half when the girl that I had dated for 7 years broke up with me. This was in March of 2016, right after my grades were slipping. She broke up with me, and I thought that was the end. But less than a month after that, we found out that my parents were getting divorced because my mom had an affair. She had an affair and took off, left the family. I have not heard from her since. I was heartbroken. I went into a severe depression. I cut out my friends. I quit going to work. I would take vacation days, and this was just the start of what would become the hardest year of my life. And I hope no one has to go through what I had to go through. I spent a lot of time in hospitals in the next few weeks. No, not because I was doing anything to myself, but because I was getting infected. I spent time on operating tables just like this for surgeries, which we're going to talk about soon. Surgeries that changed my life forever. 3 months after I lost my girlfriend and my mom, I went on vacation to cheer myself up, and the first day on vacation, I broke my bone. Here's a picture of what my finger looked like that day. I broke my bone, I broke my pinky, and it's so broken. To this day, the pinky does not close all the way. See that little gap right there? I can force it down, but it hurts. I got surgery. It was my first broken bone, and it was hard. Though it was harder, it was when my throat got infected. I got infected with a disease that no one could ever figure out what it really was. And here's actually a video I posted the day this happened.
What's up, guys? Update video. I have strep throat and I'm dying. I'm probably not gonna make a video for a while.
I didn't know what was wrong with me, and I didn't know how severe it was until I got surgery. For 4 months, I was unable to speak correctly, and this is what I sounded like.
So about 4 days ago, I woke up and I had like a little bit of a sore throat, and I thought, you know what, this kind of sucks. But I just kind of ignored it and thought maybe it's just because I let my cat lick my tonsils last night.
I knew if I got surgery, because this was one of the most painful surgeries in the world, that I would not make it to class, and I would have to fail another semester, and I would be out. I went to a whole semester unable to speak, finally got surgery. It was so painful that I literally could not eat for an entire month. But the worst part was that after surgery, 24 hours later, I started bleeding out in my throat. I was rushed to the emergency room at 2 a.m., bleeding to death, and the only reason that they said I didn't die was because I lost so much blood. My blood pressure could not pump the blood up to pour it out of my throat. It was flooding like a geyser. They swished acid in my throat as I passed out, sealed the wound shut, and I lived with immense pain for the next 2 months. This was all in the same year, but I kept pushing, and I kept pushing, and I kept pushing, and I ended up going to therapy because I was so depressed about everything that happened. I felt like I had nothing going for me. I didn't have a lot of money. I just felt like crap every single day. And things started getting a little bit better. In fact, my grades even started getting better. And even though I was told I would never graduate, even though I was told that I should change majors, I figured it out. And I ended up graduating with a 3.5 GPA in college, which is one of the best GPAs that I could have had. I recovered. In my last year, I got all straight A's, which is something that I'm incredibly proud of. And I did get a degree in environmental engineering from the University of Cincinnati. And soon after that, I kept pushing. I got 100,000 subscribers, and I knew that I could actually do this. I knew if I kept pushing, I would be able to get 1 million, maybe one day. And I kept going, and life was looking good. Until one day, my mom came back into my life and sued me for $80,000. She wouldn't speak to me, only her lawyers, and this was the last time I'd talked to her. The lawsuit came in, I didn't have any money, I was still recovering from all the bad stuff that happened in my life. I had therapy, things weren't going well, I was anxious, I was sad, but I had a girlfriend. The only problem was, as I moved to get a new job when I graduated, she became diagnosed with cancer, and at 23 years old, she passed away from her cancer. It was very hard for me. It is not easy to even talk about now, to lose someone that you like that much, and so much bad stuff happened. My parents divorced, a girl that I loved died, I had surgery on my throat, I had broken bones, I had bad grades, I was told I would fail. A lot of my friends said that this is a waste of time, these YouTube videos were a waste. But despite all of this stuff happening, I never quit making videos. Every single day I made a YouTube video, no matter what. If I got sick, if I was hurt, I still made videos. There was no stopping for me. I was hurting, and my life was still not good. Because even though I secured a really good high-paying job as an engineer, I hated it. Every morning I'd walk into a cubicle just like this. I'd walk into my cube, I'd sit down, I'd fill out Excel worksheets. I'd go home every single day doing boring tasks. I wasn't changing the world like I wanted to. I got into environmental engineering to save lives, not to fill out Excel spreadsheets. I would walk down the cubicle aisles every single day, fill up my water, come back, maybe get some coffee. That's it. Then I'd go home and I'd spend 10 hours on YouTube because I was at the point where there was no alternative in my life. It was succeed at YouTube at all costs. I would sacrifice anything to make it a job. And despite all of that, my views started climbing. And in August 23rd, 2019, I quit my job to become a full-time YouTuber on what was one of the best days of my life. And despite all of the bad things that happened in my life and everything that has happened to me, I never quit. The only thing that ever stopped me was being unable to record because I was literally in a hospital bed. There was no stopping besides that. I read hundreds of books. I put in more effort than I can ever imagine, and I got out of that job. And within 6 months of quitting, I managed to get 1 million subscribers. And behind this wall is my 1 million subscriber build. This is one of the best days of my life because I have shown that you don't need to have anything to get started. And no matter what happens to you, whatever your dream is,